All right, we're going quart to gallon, quart to gallon, small to big, which means we're going to divide. All right, what is our formula? We're going how many quarts in a gallon? 4. 22 divided by 4. 4 goes into 22 5 times, and 2/4 are left over. All right, the last one on this page. We're going meters to kilometers, small to big, small to big, which means we're going to divide. Now we got to find our steps. 1, 2, 3, 10, 100, 1,000. We're going to divide by 1,000. We can just use our zeros trick. 88. All right, so you have 2 vocabulary problems and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 practice problems on your conversions. So we're going to do our line plot, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 practice problems on this page. Make a line plot of the measurements on the table, then find a fair share. And we said this is a fancy way of saying mean or an average. And line plots have X's. The first thing we're going to do is do our title. What's the second thing we do? Put them in order. There's only 2 numbers, so I don't even think we'll need to. So we're going to write our numbers on our number line. Make sure they're in the right order. 1/3 is less than a half. There's not very many of them, so we're not even going to rewrite them in a frequency chart. So how many halves do we have? How many thirds do we have? How do I find a fair share? We're going to add these up and divide by the number of numbers. The number of numbers is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we're splitting these between all of them. It's like we put all the board together and divided it equally for a fair share. Well, half and a half is what? 1. A third, and a third is what? 1. And we're going to divide it by 5. All right, 2 divided by 5. Now, how can I write that as a fraction? Well, division and fractions are interchangeable. 2/5 of a foot. All right, so you have a few problems to work on, and we're going to move on to our Monday assignment. This is on page 856 or 865. Now, you can't do these because you don't have a pan balance, but we're going to do an online pan balance. So mass, we talked about this in science, is the measure of the amount of matter. The measurement we use is a gram. That's the unit. So I'm going to come back here to mine. Remember I said we would use this for a long time. So we were measuring in length, and the unit in length is a meter. But we're measuring a mass. The unit we use is a gram. It's still a milligram, a centigram, a decigram, a decagram, a hectogram, a kilogram. But now we're grams, not meters. Remember, think of length as how a distance, think of mass as how heavy it is, and think of capacity as how much space it takes up. All right, and you're going to be measuring all these things throughout your activities. All right, so I'm going to flip. If you open those links, and you can just follow right along with me. Oh, that's the wrong one. Of course, I picked the wrong one. Well, oh, there we go. Have too much stuff open. So our first one looks like this. And a pan balance just has, just like it says, these two pans on either side. You might have seen these at the grocery store, and these are grams. Notice the lowercase g for gram. And if I put this weight on this side, what's going to happen to my pan balance? Boop, it drops. If I put more weight on this side, what's going to happen to my pan balance? It's going to drop again. So the more weight, it drops faster, harder, and the tilt is more. Right? It's going to go, the heavier it is over here as compared to here, it's going to go all the way, right now this should actually go all the way down to the table, but it's a computer, it's not going to. But I'm going to show you, so I have how many grams over here? 10. So if I put one tiny little gram over here, what's it going to do to this side? So it moved it just a little bit, but not enough to make it flip. And I'm going to put, so we're getting closer. So if it is flat or horizontal to the table, that means it's equal. That's what you're trying to find. So what do I need to add over here to make it equal? Yep. And you can see that it turned. All right, so let's try another one. So we're going to do one object, and then you can see on the objects, a whole bunch of them came up. Before you start your lesson, because we can't do our hands-on learning, I'd like you to measure the rest of our objects and write them down either in your packet, or you can write them down and dojo them to me. So I want to see that you're practicing your measurement. It's kind of fun too. So make a prediction before you go, and then you can practice. So we're going to see our apple. So it's more than 5 pounds. Oh, it was exactly 10. So if I had done that, I would have known that this was heavier than this. Sometimes you have to take off a big amount and add smaller ones to find the exact weight. So if you start with a big one, you may have to break it up into smaller ones, or you can just start from the smaller ones, but it'll take longer. All right, let's do one more. Okay. All right, so make a prediction. What do you think? Is it going to weigh more or less than the apple? Notice that you can put them on either side. Ooh, we're getting pretty close. Really close. Notice that as we get close, I picked smaller weights. All right, so please complete your other ones. Now, if you want to challenge this, the last site is a, oh, this isn't the right one. Go back to our, you're welcome to do that one as well. So I'm going to open up the one that I wanted you to do, but here's the one that has expressions. So we're going to do the shapes. Let's see if it'll open for me here. But the numbers is the same thing, but with numbers, which is the true algebraic. All right, so this one, what you're trying to find out, these are different sets up here. These are different like problems. you're trying to find out the order of which object is heaviest and which object is lightest. So you have to run experiments. So you're trying to make the balance equal. And I found one. Every time you find one, it's going to put it up on the chart, and then you can reset your balance. You can put them back. Oh, I found one. So 2 squares equals a diamond, equals a circle. So a diamond has to equal 1 square, which means it equals 1/4 of a circle. Reset your balance. I don't remember the answers to these. Oh, I found another one. So let's see. So we're going to see if we guessed our weights. We have a square, the circle, so this is the lightest. No, this is the heaviest, and it is equal to your rhombus or diamond. No, these are the lightest. Lightest, middle, because only one of these, it takes 2 of these. And then this one's the heaviest because it takes 1 of these and 1 of these. So you guess them from lightest to heaviest. If you solve all these over here, it will automatically fill them in. Then when you want, you can close it and you can check a new set. This one really takes problem solving. It takes a lot of thinking through. All right, so you have your challenge for today. We're going to go back to our camera and look at our lesson. So we're on page 865, which we said we couldn't do. We also can't do the try it on page 866, but we can look at our questions for number 2, 3, and 4. Using the mass of objects that you found to estimate the mass of 2 objects in your classroom, then find the mass of the objects where your estimates close. So we can't do that one either. Could a larger object have less mass than a smaller object? We talked about this in science. I want you to write down your answer. Take a minute, write down your answer, and then we'll discuss. All right, so size doesn't mean mass. Remember how we talked about a planet could be really, really big and not have as much mass, or it could be really small and have a lot. So you can think of a cloud as big with little mass, but a brick is small with a lot of mass. They call that dense. It's dense. It doesn't have holes. So think of a sponge. A sponge, would it have a lot of mass or a little mass? Little. But think about a sponge, how it has all those little holes in it, teensy tiny holes. So we'd say that is less dense. It doesn't have as much mass. All right, and how do we convert from kilograms to grams?